Jojo goes in with some Foxfire, some salt being thrown down. There's a rocket jump in. E onto Inspire, gonna blast soon, and there's a kill. Huhi gets the credit of it onto FBI, and the pursuit is strong. Stixxay staying alive and lock onto Jojo. Support more, separate through mid lane. Who's the next ball? Jojo is had. He's looking for the angle.
They know he has no vision. They know they have no vision. He wants to go.
Multiple control. There he goes. Huhi with the play and the jump in to follow. It's burned HP bars for AG. They ain't got no FBI to hold up the mantle for them. Licorice getting the kill onto Vulcan, and Jojo zoned out by Gori.
Welcome back, everybody, and Golden Guardians are at match point after what was a colossal stomp in Game 2.
Just expected.
we have a closer here to bring us back. We're going into Champ Select soon. So what are your thoughts going into this draft?
I mean, honestly, Game 2 was a draft kingdom by Golden Guardians.
Yes.
They used the Tristana flex very well. So, like, players are just feeling themselves right now.
Yeah, they can see that. Inspired, supposedly, like, I saw him walking off the show on broadcast, looked super tilted. Jack, you say you saw him in the back.
I saw him walking back to stage with the team. They did look more focused than when they were leaving. Obviously, they have that 10 minutes in between games to try and refine themselves. And I do wonder how much they're just kind of saying that they were bad drafts, we need to play better, or if they're thinking that they're tilted. That's the question.
I think they're aware of their mistakes. Like, okay, River got 2 kills early game, but Nautilus Vulcan saw them, they are doing crap, and then he died anyway. And then Jojo saw him on a ward, and he died anyway. So I can see why Inspire is pissed.
Yep. Feels pretty bad as a jungler when something
trying
like
to
that
calm him down with whatever they're giving him.
Hey, you've been in this situation before. Like, what is that discussion? Like, I know, like, you've joked, like, we have to play like human. But, like, what goes on backstage when you are down 0-2 in a series?
That's what I would say. I would say we just need to play better. It's not about draft. It's not about anything. Like, let's lose because of the draft. That wasn't a loss because of the draft. That was because of the plays that they are making.
Yeah, I mean, like, we were talking about how gigabrain it was, and they did all this stuff in the draft, blah, blah, blah. But then, you know, like, if you give up kills like you're talking about, it doesn't super matter. So they did go red side this time. I do think it is smart to get off blue side after the 0-2. It felt like they're getting taken advantage of. Yeah.
So Wukong being banned alongside Vi, Maokai's been the first pick throughout. Anything you want a response here, closer?
What do you go for?
Sejuani is available.
Maybe Sejuani. I would pick Viego or Lissandra here, but I don't think EG will choose that route. I think it's just Sejuani from Inspired.
Oh, I'm surprised they slammed the Zeri again after having a pretty rough go of it in the previous game.
But this time they slammed it with Lulu. Maybe they said that, Zeri without Lulu is not good, but we'll see. I really like this flex from Golden Guardians. I think they can use this flex into Zeri as well. I remember it used to be like a fine matchup into Zeri.
And it's something that I wouldn't have expected. Like the Tristana pick, now it really challenges FBI alongside Jojo. Jojo expected it to be that matchup, but now FBI has to think about like, okay, like Tristana, I probably haven't played it against in a long time. What picks do I want versus it if it's going bot lane?
Yeah, I mean, Tristana is also a champion that has a lot of kill threat if you're not prepared for it. There are a lot of like combos with supports. Alistar Tristana way back in the day would like destroy Callista lanes and stuff like that. And here, you know, like with the Rel is another old combo that, you know, huhi with all those games played could reach into the tank and pull out. So they're gonna go with the flex picks again, man.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
It's the same draft
so
far.
It's interesting, though, because they are on blue side, so EG should be able to ban out stuff like the Gwen, which was kind of a pivot point in the last draft, and they can save their 5th for a counter pick once they know the entire GG.
Now that they're red side, the flex doesn't matter that much. Oh my. They're just gonna instantly.
They're just gonna.
Oh my God! It's just that easy.
They can go. Okay, they need to ban Gwen on 4-5 here.
Yeah,
they need to ban Silas or Malphite ult.
100%.
I don't like this Malphite. I don't like it.
This is such a big moment. Like, we've been talking about EG all year and how we've been giving them credit for what they accomplished last year. Because if you just hone in on what they've done in the Spring Split, even in their wins, they weren't looking that solid. Like, this is actually the make or break game. I think there's still a chance that they could pull something out in this draft in this game, get a reverse sweep, and make a run. But if they lose, the entire split is a failure.
Now, Closer, you're in the position of evil geniuses, and like, look how many junglers are being banned. I'm expecting a little bit more. The Malphite's been locked in. Like, what are you afraid of with the draft that you're in right now? Because you didn't like the Malphite pick this early.
I feel like when you are red side, even though enemy team is flexing stuff, like they will need to show their flex.
Yeah.
They cannot hold on to it on blue side. They will need to expose their flex. So I will just pick Sejuani there. I don't think enemy team is gonna ban Malphite. Even if they ban, just pick something other, like some other tank if you want. Now, maybe they will go for Jarvan. Maybe they will go for Viego. He's hovering Kha'Zix.
I mean,
Maybe he just wants to go
FBI's a bit
home.
of a draft.
yeah, definitely jungle here, and then they're gonna need Jojo to be on something with a pretty good chunk of damage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
What carry jungler can work? Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hey, it's like the closer set. There you go. And even before show, you were talking about how like Inspired's more of a Sejuani player, even though the meta started shifting to things like Viego and Lee Sin that you started playing. You know, he was still preferring the tank jungle.
I mean, he used to play these champions, so I think he can pull it off. They have like a good reset comp already for Viego. Like Malphite is gonna go in and create some space for him to collect some free kills or free souls.
They probably go for something like, I'm looking, Ari's a potential. They've gone big. Oh my god.
What can't Licorice play? Oh my god.
I mean, are they gonna flex the Malphite mid? Like, that is not a good matchup for
Maybe.
Malphite.
Yeah,
This is what we were
that's the
talking earlier, like, can you blind Malphite? We were generally thinking no, like, there's so
Yeah.
many things you can play against it.
Yeah, I mean, like the Gwen wasn't even banned. They were like willing to risk that, and Licorice just went even harder on the counter pick angle.
Oh my god!
Oh.
That's a Maokai support or a Amumu support? It's a Amumu.
That's a Mumu support.
Yeah.
Yes. This
Golden Guys bot lane definitely feeling themselves.
Give me anything.
Like
Random.
it feels like just give me anything. I can lane with it. I can win the game with it.
I mean, this is a bit of an ego draft
Yeah,
by Golden
definitely.
Guardians. They put, like, there's been a progression. Game 1 was kind of all over the place. They did the Fiora instead of the Scion. Game 2, they pulled out the triple flex. Now they're like, nah, Rumble Amumu.
Okay.
thoughts with the Lissandra now. Who do you think has won the draft? And just I'll go to you closer for this.
I like EG's draft more, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think they have a very good, solid reset comp for Viego. In this draft, Inspire needs to shine, and Zeri is gonna take over mid to late game. But I think this draft is looking a lot for Inspire to make plays and force something. I like EG's draft. I feel like Golden Gun is bot lane. Maybe they can find like all-in angles, but Zeri Lulu is just better.
As a jungler, where are you going early game with Viego here?
I'm going towards bot. I think my bot lane will be winning that matchup if I give them vision, and top lane just doesn't matter.
I mean, that's the jungle angle for me. My eyes are on Huhi, man. He took over that last game. We've been hyping him up all day, and now on the Amumu pick, he loves roaming, so I expect to see him pair up with River and try and influence some of these other lanes.
All right, we're at match point. Golden Guardians have EG by the throat. We're gonna send this one to the casters and hear what their take is on this.
Rumble?
My take is that the drafts do not disappoint, Kobe. The drafts do not disappoint.
I love Licorice, okay? Pulling out the Rumble, this has been, majority is just solo queue right now. On 13.5, it did get buffed. They actually doubled the magic resist shred on harpoons. So from one harpoon is 20% now from 10%. If you hit both, it went from 20% to 40%. So some massive, massive magic shred is possible if you're able to hit both of your harpoons. But even barring that, it's still been mostly solo queue, like Lorlo is spamming it and, random streamers and stuff, except for the LPL, like OMG plays it a bunch, but that's just because they have Shanji. Besides that, it's mostly solo queue. So I love how confident Licorice is. And honestly, like after the series versus 100 Thieves, where they enabled him to start picking carry champions, it is such a glow up from him, because the beginning of the split, if you remember back, Licorice was the Golden Guardian member who was probably getting flamed by the community the most, even when they were having their big run. And for him to be such a huge part of their draft flexibility and from their carry potential now is such a cool story.
And I have been watching Licorice for a long time, Kobe. Back in the amateur days, was casting some of his games. So I am beyond thrilled to see him showcasing that flexibility that he has had in the past and really approaching the game with a very mental mindset. In fact, there was an interview he did earlier back in February that was emphasizing the fact that he really prioritized wanting to get his mental ready and making sure he was ready for the stage, and that it wasn't about having these mistakes and really thinking too much about it. He wants to get in the zone, and I feel like he's doing so today.
All right, well, let's see if he's able to abuse that overheat zone versus Ssumday.
Attempts to do so.
Big thing about Rumble is that he's always going to push the lane with Flame Spitter, going for harassment. Licorice, though, goes past the minion wave.
Trying to get that work onto Ssumday. Ssumday marked down to half, but on both sides, popping the pots to keep sustaining into it, and the farm advantage off of that burn.
He's got a ward already, you know, up in the river here to be able to see if someone comes to gank him, because you do play Rumble very aggressively. As you say, he pretty much always pushes. It's really hard to avoid pushing on an AoE champion like that. Whenever you have a matchup like that, that's volatile, that could be abusive, you have to worry about junglers. Inspired's just going to finish his red and wrap around. So he thinks that there's a ward in Tribrush. River, though, is also attracted to the volatile lane and the pushing Rumble. And they
Asking
find
for assistance here on Inspired, who throws out the Herald Path to retreat effectively.
great tracking and defense here from River, marking the enemy jungle. Maokai versus Viego, you don't want to fight him, you just want to see him and track him for your aggressive lanes. So good little trap here by him, dropping some extra saplings too to make sure that they don't disrupt the Rumble lane phase up on top side and allow Licorice to really get the value out of that counter pick. Plus, since it was just a full red quadrant clear for River, very efficient on the Maokai too. After his warding and sapling duty and tracking enemy jungler, he can just now finish off his blue quadrant.
And I mean, going into this game where there's so much stakes on the table, not as aggressive move from either side, kind of going to the lanes and starting traditionally. Gori marked down low against this range, but River again over on the top side, working his way through Tri. They did have the vision in their favor, and Ssumday's already marked low, but Licorice as well.
All right, so they just want to trap here. Rumble push wave. Maokai saplings try and stop him. The Maokai alone might have a hard time soloing him, but it looks like
Run, going for it onto Ssumday though,
it.
and
What?
no mana at the ready. Ssumday stepping into the range of the flash. That was a close one, Kobe, but trading the summoners to keep Ssumday alive.
super close because Ssumday did such a good job there, holding until the last second. Inspired though is wrapping up, holding until the last second because he knows River's going to try and Q flash on him, and so he flashes just at the right time there to get River's flash as well as avoiding the Q flash from Maokai. So good job there by Ssumday, not dying. And Inspired's going to be able to tax a little bit. He counter jungles the Maokai. River spent a lot of time up there and didn't finish clearing his blue quadrant. So River is going to be heavily, heavily behind Inspired now, who is able to counter jungle pretty substantially and get double crab on top of that.
And Inspired on the Viego pick, somebody who can really pop off once he gets going.
Yeah, the analyst has touched on it a little bit, talking about Inspired. You know, he's played Viego before. He actually played Viego in LEC when he was LEC MVP on the champion. Massive carry performances with Viego way back before he even came over here. So see if he can have one of those types of performances to keep Evil Genius's hopes in this series alive. Because up until now, Golden Guardians have just been smashing them. River does go over the ward, unbeknownst to Golden Guardians.
So seeing as he's paying even more attention over on this top side, uses the blast cone to
Bring
get
around the
into
Rosie.
River once again, seen by all the warding through. But very different look when a lot of these teams, we discuss the fact that there's that emphasis on bot side. That's where a lot of the attention is being drawn. So many of the junglers spending all their time down there. But here we have a game with Licorice, really enabled on a different pick. And now River giving him due justice.
Yeah, I absolutely love how Golden Guardians are flexing in this series and making a lot of it about smashing in draft and really valuing and respecting counter picks and flex picks. And Licorice and the team are kind of playing around it. Now, at the moment, River is kind of paying for Licorice's ability to exact full aggressiveness out of this counter pick and is getting decently behind, but is just a tank Maokai, so unless he feeds over an early kill to the Viego, should be able to still operate within team fights.
So neutral territory so far, and when you're thinking about it from the state of the series coming into this, you can see everyone emphasizing how strong Golden Guardians have been. Evil Geniuses slowing things down a tad and making sure that GG can't make any super aggressive plays right off the top is definitely a win for them to get their footing.
Yeah, And Inspired gonna get level 6 on a pretty quick curve, honestly, with the Viego. That control ward up by his Krugs does see him. So they spotted him. They should be able to track him. Little ping down there as well. I think he leaves it for Ssumday to clear. It's like, I got better stuff to do. Golden Guardians will take the opportunity, though. Guess what? They saw your jungler, and they instantly take the Drags.
Secured with the rotation from Stixxay and huhi into this bot side jungle. You can see the warding from EG's side kind of remaining at the line of scrimmage. So first dragon over to Golden Guardians.
Yeah, like that. Playing off their Krug ward information. And there it is, the early level 6 for Inspired. But Dragon acquired for Golden Guardians. They'll point on in the bank for a little later.
But EG stepping into territory very different from games 1 and 2. Looking at their last series where they 3-0'd, they were entirely on the red side after so many series where it was all blue side wins, or nearly almost all of them. So do you think this reversion to putting Inspired on a pick like Viego and really switching things up in the draft and going over to red side will be enough for them to get that stability in the series?
Yeah, they're gonna have to improve their play also. You know, a lot of focus is on the draft and on side selection so far in this series, but EG have just straight up made some pretty big mistakes with information that was in front of them. So definitely gonna have to clean up that play, and they've got the stuff to do it, you know. Putting Inspired on a Viego, a reset champion, when you've got a Malphite ultimate and a Lissandra ult to play off of, those are two very supportive solo lanes.
The equalizer coming down from Licorice, so Ssumday also has to ult out, ult for ult traded on the top side.
Yeah, so much for that tool. Inspired, though, is going to go in, start up this red buff steal.
Oh, there's the lock from huhi. Tristana going in, knock away, stun onto Inspired, but Inspired, even with the wild growth, still has an ADC on his back. Stixxay throwing out the autos onto Vulcan and Inspired, but FBI has made his way through with the Ultra Shock laser. Stixxay flashing away, ult already utilized, not much escape tools available, and there's first blood for FBI, wanting to continue the onslaught. Polymorph onto huhi. Inspired gets the credit for the second kill. It's the 2-for-1 trade across so far, and River and Licorice on the top side, now isolating Ssumday under the turret. We went from nothing to so much blood across the map, Kobe.
That was so close. Inspired, single digits HP, escaping there from the Golden Guardians bottom lane. Golden Guardians, massive attempt at a defense on their weak side. They sent River top side. They were trying to pull off that dive play from the very beginning, but their bottom lane actually opted to try and defend red and almost pulled it out on the weak side of the map. Look at this. With the Amumu having level 6, they have so much threat on Inspired, so huhi nails it. He goes in, bandage number 1 into Amumu ultimate with the explosive shot reset. Stixxay jumps in again, and then I want to see the HP on this, because even with heal on the reset here, Inspired tries to ult Stixxay, but he flashes it, and the last auto just barely doesn't kill him. Then huhi tries to flash forward too, and it ends up being 2 kills for Evil Geniuses, but it is so close there. Yeah, he can smile about that one. Vulcan, very happy about those kills on the bottom side. They still got the successful dive on top side for Golden Guardians there and got the kill onto Licorice, so that rumble definitely will be a problem for Dragon Fight number 2.
And meanwhile, Gori and Jojo going at it in the mid lane. Gori now with a kill for himself and Jojo down a death. It was aggression everywhere for both of these teams, but it means that the gold is still even as we crest over 10 minutes here, Kobe.
All right. Kills for Evil Geniuses where they want them. Again, their bottom side of the map. Inspired plus FBI are going to be the ones that have to hard carry this game. Those have to be big DPS output because they went with 2 solo laners that are kind of set up solo laners, team fight solo laners. And so very nice to get those early, that early kill onto the Zeri plus the assist, the other kill going on to Inspired, the other big carry for them. It is a reset though. They're rotating everybody up to the top half of the map here,
which is important to consider when looking at Ssumday on this Malphite with the ultimate at the ready, because in the previous series had some very effective usage of it in team fights and offsetting any pressure. And Golden Guardians in this game, I'm sure, is what he's looking to do.
Yeah, he definitely wants to shine in the team fights because he got counterpicked and he's not going to shine in lane phase. This Malphite is going to get roasted over and over in lane phase, and so he's hoping, yeah, I'm going to have a big Malphite ultimate don't worry. I will give you some value for this pick. Gori here, you can tell by the movement that he's kind of baiting, so Inspired does not take that bait. I like the move because River had full control of the bottom side here with those saplings and with the extra vision. That Rift Herald that they got off of that top side play where they got Rift Herald into the dive is used bottom for the Tristana.
Aw, lock onto Gori. Jojo and Inspired are going for it, but they just want to keep him off of it because dropping that Rift Herald on the bot side is where most attention is drawn by these two. A stun onto FBI and Vulcan, but ultimate activated by FBI. River in the vicinity are looking to do so.
I love the Tristana disengage ability versus Zeri. Now FBI in trouble.
Oh, there's the lock. FBI just surrounded by Golden Guardians, and this is ahead of the Dragon. That's why so much attention was spent down here.
FBI, that was a critical error. River, nice dodge on the Q here from Inspired, trying to harass him, but what a massive, massive error for Evil Geniuses. FBI up here against the wall by River, gets immediately bandage tossed into Maokai, blown up.
Oh, Evil Geniuses. When you lose the carry, that means Golden Guardians bring that gold swinging into their favor, 1.2K, but the Dragon itself now focused by EG. This will tie it up 1-1 on the Dragon scoreboard, but all the while, the solo action along mid continues. Jojo flashing out of the way of Gori, was wanting to go for it again, and all the while, EG securing that Dragon.
Yeah, nice R from Gori there, not allowing Jojo to take the claw. Gets him with the R and forces the flash eventually. So small cooldown victory there for the Ssumday. Golden Guardians on the reset and rotate upside. Guess what? This Malphite is in trouble.
River's trying to set it up. Ssumday again having to use his ultimate defensively. Multiple members from EG means teleport as well to even out the numbers on the map a bit because of EG pressuring that bot side.
Yeah, I think they're going to rumble ults down on bottom side. They just teleported Licorice here, cleared those minion waves. Yeah, good job there by Licorice. So the other big thing about rumble, this ultimate is so good because it's a very low cooldown and can annihilate minion waves. So they make the rotation to the top side, but no, he's going to give it all away now. He's going to...
Oh no, Vulcan and Inspired. Your polymorph Licorice can't escape. Knows he's not long for this world. Keeps him away on that turret for some time, but now they do have that wave to be able to finish it off.
He got the teleported down, he got the minion wave, but then went back in over the wall. Sweeper for EG finds him. Gori trying to fish around for something here, but they don't have a lot with them, so it is going to be EG taking the tower as well as the kill on the Rumble, who also used teleport getting down here. Everybody else should be fine.
Ooh, a sweaty game we got on our hands. A turret for each team, a dragon for each team. EG looking for another kill to put on the scoreboard. Frozen Tomb onto who he used. And that is a dead Amumu. Sad the whole time through.
Yeah, support Amumu wants friends even more than jungle Amumu wants friends. Going to ward by yourself like that is almost a death wish. You have no escapes, so very, very reckless play from the Golden Guardian support this time around. Huhi gives over kind of a freebie, waddling up on the support of Amumu. He doesn't burn his flash or anything because he knows he's dead though, so it is just the kill gold.
I guess Amumu would be the kind of champion to want to make friends with the enemy team, go searching. Let's be friends forever. But didn't have enough existing friends on his side in that regard, but just the gold, as you said. Licorice here with Ssumday once again. Teleport by EG over the wall. Ssumday going for the initiation with the unstoppable, and Licorice still trying to escape. Throws down the equalizer to slow down Jojo, and Ssumday by enough time for huhi to come through. Stixxay also in the river side. Enough damage to follow up if EG did pursue Licorice. So in the end, GG get him out of there. But now the Rift Herald is what is up for grabs.
Yeah, there's no Rumble ultimate for this, but there's also no Malphite ultimate, which actually looks pretty favorable here. Golden Guardians started right up. Nice stuff for them. Licorice escapes, gets the extra summoner spell blown, and they still get the objective for Golden Guardians. So as much work as the Evil Geniuses have done in this game to try and get themselves some hope in this series, Golden Guardians still push their lead ahead.
They'll definitely be cracking that lead further and further against EG once they drop that Rift Herald down. For EG's side, though, you're looking at some strength coming out of Inspired. 3 kills. Already working into some itemization for the later parts in the game, but they still need an opportunity to get into these fights and really pick off some members of Golden Guardians.
Yeah, he's gonna have to do a lot of work here on the Ruined King. Honestly, bottom side should be easy for them to set up some deeper wards. I like that because they do have possibilities of a lot of possibilities of picking people off. Kind of a power move here from EG to get a little bit deeper. They set up another attempt.
So they wanted to grab River here. We're waiting in the bush to do so, but off of that is the vision that they have extended for the side of EG. Golden Guardians now trying to push past it to keep EG out of their own jungle.
And everybody is going to have everything available except for the Rumble Flash for this dragon fight. So should be able to actually fight this one. Malphite ultimate just came up now for Ssumday. He just hit level 11 on. So both top laners with rank 2 in their ultimates.
Jojo taking some attention from Licorice here.
Golden Guardians, though, with the recalls that we're seeing now from Evil Geniuses, Golden Guardians for sure gonna have first setup. And honestly, EG probably think it's just too risky fighting into the darkness here. You're against the Maokai ultimate, into a Amumu ultimate and Rumble. There's just too much AoE there from Golden Guardians to ever try and face check them. A little bit too dangerous. And so Rift Herald towards mid doesn't even have to lose health on the first tower. So they will get a second tower charge off.
Golden Guardians, they managed to find Jojo when he was attempting to join the rest of EG. So as he retreats towards the turret, escaping the ultimate from River, EG were attempting to pursue the rest of Golden Guardians, who now rotate over towards the dragon side.
Again, the darkness is so dangerous for EG. That was another kind of freebie cooldown there. Jojo trying to rotate over. Again, no flash. Lissandra really benefits from having flash. Being that set-up champion that wants to lock people down for the Viego, for the Zeri there. So not only do Golden Guardians get mid-tower off the Rift Herald, plus the Dragon here, they also get the flash down on one of the playmakers from Evil Geniuses. And EG finally do trade at least the tower on top side, with FBI going over to get some of the gold there, not just let it go into the Malphite. They need to concentrate that money onto the Zeri, onto the Viego.
And extending some of that pressure just on the side lanes to break open some of this map here. 3 turrets to 2 on the scoreboard, as Golden Guardians were able to get such an effective use of that Rift Herald to put that tier 2 in mid in a weak position. But Evil Geniuses, one thing they have going for them around that dragon as well, as we highlighted, it was 1-to-1 previously, so some delayed stacking for Golden Guardian side that they don't quite have to worry about just yet, and building up that gold onto FBI and that team fight potential.
Yeah, I think a lot of eyeballs are going to be on Inspired, because it's kind of hard to play Viego into so much AoE here, and Maokai ultimate's used at the tower.
Right from jungle, and huhi, Stixxay, and Licorice throwing down the equalizer, gets a good burn onto Vulcan, also holding the E from Tristana, so backs on out of it, but the healthy members of EG make that face at Golden Guardians as well.
Yeah, looks like that's gonna be enough to back off here. They've got the split push Lissandra on bottom side, so Golden Guardians kind of want to reset for this minion wave. So just relent on pressure. But look at the wards here through the red quadrant of the jungle leading up towards Baron. The Golden Guardians really get to press in and make it harder for EG to rotate to these plays.
So if you are EG right now and it's a bit difficult for you to rotate over towards these plays, you're on game point against Golden Guardians, who, while it's not as explosive as previous games, have been building up advantages in particular parts of the map. What are you thinking?
I want to kill the Rumble. I want to kill Frontline, because Rumble usually is going to be pretty close. I mean, they'll take any pick that they can get. Obviously, if you get a pick, a freebie there, that is the ideal situation. But if you have to, try and kill Frontline Rumble for the first reset there for Viego for an inspired moment, because you have 2 forms here, Malphite Ultimate and Lissandra, to be able to have a 2-tiered engage and really play off of those resets. And since Rumble has no stopwatch yet, and Rumble is building very offensively here, that is a valuable target that should probably be easier to kill than the Tristana, unless Stixxay kind of loses his mind and jumps in.
But sometimes when he's lost his mind, it's been in a very good way in some of these fights. So
yeah, trust himself definitely has gotten them here. Big part of it, the hero plays.
I think when we're talking about the confidence of these teams and their mentality into it, it also comes in that play style. Stixxay, when he made his debut, it was as this aggressive AD carry. And then even huhi noting in an interview with Degon talking about how he had played passively in recent years and having a discussion with Stixxay to bring that aggression back out. That teammate that he had on previous years in the past that they got that championship with, bring that through here in Golden Guardians. And he has done so in such a heroic way in that matchup against 100 Thieves. And so far in the series, doing what he needs to do to get that damage against Evil Geniuses, the favored team coming into this matchup.
Exactly. And moving up here, they push out mid, allowing River to go pop the empowered Scryer's Bloom plants, one-shot some of these wards, clear out the Baron again, turn it dark for Evil Geniuses to make it so hard for them to actually set up. And every time it gets dark like this, you constantly have to worry because Maokai ultimate covers such a wide area, and if huhi's right behind him, that is a lockdown that's going to be inevitable.
And as Golden Guardians push up those wards and get more saplings down as well, you can see Inspired kind of checking into the bushes and running into them time and time again. Meanwhile, Evil Geniuses want to extend some of their own vision. They've reached a little bit over into Riverside and extend into their jungle on the bot side, but that's why Inspired has to back up.
I think there's just so much for EG hopes right now, and extending the series and keeping their playoffs lives is on the shoulders of FBI. This Zeri here is approaching 3 items, approaching big carry potential. And so I think that's going to lead to a little bit more caution right now from EG. They're in an elimination game right now. Every game right now is match point for them. So I think they're going to be very cautious in setting up for it, and they'll probably just wait for a little bit more FBI farming here. You see him sitting really far back in the lane, waiting for the minion wave to come to him. Just continue to give over. You know, Dragon number 3 here is not going to be Dragon Soul, so it isn't the end of the world.
And meanwhile, Jojo pushing up on the side lanes as much as possible. Golden Guardians making their rotation towards that dragon, and EG's response is to keep most of their members on this top side. Ssumday has his ultimate and is pushing out bot. Getting a...
Real threat here. But Golden Guardians, they call it. EG back off from the Baron. Not going to be enough time there. Stixxay annihilates Dragon. And so there's not a real big window, but kind of what we were talking about, where it's too risky right now to throw anything away for that.
Yeah, so Golden Guardians with 3 dragons on them. Soul point, but EG, because of that earlier grab, did extend kind of that window for them to prevent Soul. And now just a little bit of a reset opportunity. But the gold itself has fallen a bit back more to a neutral state. Evil Geniuses still awaiting that chance for FBI to get stronger and stronger as he continues to ensure that he doesn't push up and get picked off as he gets more and more farm.
Yeah, they're hoping for the dream. Infinity Edge crits Zeri, carry us to the promised land here. Lulu buffing them up, lots of setup there with CC on all the other members. But Golden Guardians have looked so good this series, waiting to see a nice Rumble combination with all the AoE that they do have. See if they can set it up. Since they just took Dragon, it's really easy now to rotate all of your vision resources over towards the top side of the map. There's nothing really on bottom side that has value for the next few minutes, so spend all of your wards over here, bait in Evil Geniuses, try and force them into something they don't want.
And Golden Guardians doing exactly that, throwing down the saplings and vision across this river. It's very similar to what we saw in the previous games, multiple controls on this Baron side, and as Ssumday steps up, Gori's going for the lock, huhi in the vicinity, but you still have a spread right now as 2 members of Golden Guardians and Stixxay and River just want to ensure that that mid wave stays in a neutral state. Inspired lurking around the corner though. Seeing what EG can do to try and encroach upon this. Jojo still with his teleport at the ready, but could be matched by Licorice. Oh, Jojo blasted. Licorice does so much damage. teleport from Ssumday. So you get additional resources in that teleport, as well as the damage onto Jojo as Golden Guardians can focus on to the Baron. Licorice now teleports in, Inspired, looking for an angle to get in there, but can't find it. Isolated, Gori takes him out, and on the Baron, Jojo wants to go for it, but the security of River gets the Baron buff for Golden Guardians. EG can't find a way in this. Ssumday can't find a way away as Golden Guardians are just pushing forward with their momentum in this game.
Yeah, Golden Guardians stomp this series. Holy moly. Licorice with the play of the series. He waits on his rumble in the brush, overheats, burns Jojo down to 10%, then teleports up to the team that's already on Baron, and he immediately runs at Inspired. I didn't expect every member of Golden Guardians to leave the pit and leave River alone in the pit, but they all were just making sure they were going to track down Inspired, kill the enemy jungler, make sure there's not going to be a steal. Jojo tried to make a hero play on the Lissandra, being like, oh, you know, maybe I can just scare this Maokai or something. He teleported in and tried to steal the Baron, but River nails it. Golden Guardians, great stuff. Look at that. They're on the Baron already. They burn it down so quickly. Licorice forces Jojo back to base, then teleports up, and they all jump right on Inspired. We found you. Guess what? No steal for you. And then Jojo comes in for the hero play, but Stixxay's already back in the pit. Maokai has smite. They don't mess it up. Jojo down again, and Golden Guardians now, they've got Baron. They can easily take the rest of the turrets out here. Licorice very happy with himself, and deservedly so.
Very different reactions from both of those sides considering how everything played out. Licorice managing to put that pressure onto Jojo, get to the fight quickly, and now Golden Guardians with that Red Bull Baron buff can continue this pressure over in this bot pit.
Yeah, Guardians transformation. Massive stuff here for them in playoffs. That turret doesn't stand a chance. Baron empowered 4-1 split push. Gori's holding mid lane, buffing up those minions. Not a very good angle here for Evil Geniuses. You can see Jojo and Ssumday, you know, trying to look for maybe over the wall, but that ward right there sees Jojo the whole time. Golden Guardians will not be in any danger. They can just retreat back to the Soul. 20 seconds here. Chemtech Soul is not the greatest, but it is a Soul. Take that, because EG are going to have a really hard time doing anything about it.
This was a spring split where it was so difficult to evaluate teams because of the swingy nature of these streaks. Golden Guardians having a 7 streak at one point, FlyQuest and 100 Thieves, and it's hard to pit what their great performances are against the bottom ones, as now Golden Guardians are putting together an amazing one as they take another dragon to secure that soul that, yes, it is still a soul and still something that they can work with here during the end of this Baron play, but these are the peaks that got people questioning, what can Golden Guardians do in best of series? Will they be able to push far in these playoffs? And they're doing so nicely right now as they keep EG on the outskirts of their base. River attempts to get a couple roots and does manage to do so to set up the equalizer, and look at how heavy that Tristana hits. Also should be able to burn this turret and even burn the golden from Jojo as he has to E back into the fountain, and Gori keeping up the pressure on that mid turret so they can get multiple inhibitors at the threat right now. Finish off on the bot side. Inspired wants to make a connection onto somebody from Golden Guardians, but they know when to retreat.
I love this. Guardians deserve everything that they are getting here. They're using new champions. They're absolutely blasting EG in playoffs. What a year for this organization, for this team. That inhibitor didn't stand a chance. The Maokai ultimate into Rumble ultimate and explosive shot just deleting backline members. Jojo is forced to Zonias. It is so sad to look at from the EG side, but honestly, heroics here for Golden Guardians so far in playoffs.
Because we know what Evil Geniuses are capable of, but it feels like Golden Guardians have outpaced them throughout the entirety of the series, showing so much flexibility in draft and the ability to carry off of that momentum from game to game to game. And even now with the switch of sides, with the switch of strategy, they're still keeping it through for what's looking like a potential Golden Guardians victory, not just on the game, but the series.
Yeah, big thing for Golden Guardians in these series is they have not when they have a big lead, they have not done anything risky to even give an opening for EG. And with Seoul, with a 5,500 gold lead here, they're just shoving up mid. EG are trying to make a pick play on top side, but they even know.
Oh, and Gori trying to stop the backs here alongside River. They target FBI, goes into ultimate, but is answered by lockdown. A teleport in from Evil Geniuses keeps River and Gori separated into the jungle. Huhi, Stixxay, and Licorice ready to zone off the remaining members of EG, making their way through that top side. Jojo ready to join from mid.
And the mid tower was already killed. Now
Stixxay over the wall again, lands an E, can't charge it up because Jojo goes towards the base to heal, but that's the second inhibitor taken down by Golden Guardians. The pressure is good from the GG side.
Yep, the map is theirs. Two now lines of super minions heading into the Evil Geniuses base, trying to keep them pinned in. Golden Guardians get to take anything they want off the map. And guess what? 28 seconds left on the Baron to respawn here, so they will go back and spend all of this money that they just got before returning after their reset. And then EG are faced with the Hail Mary. Backs against the walls for Evil Geniuses. Spring playoffs lives on the line. They have to pull out a miracle here versus the Golden Guardians.
Golden Guardians ready with wards to try and take over River again with Vision. The teleport in and Huhi going for the play. Multiple stuns and the equalizer across Evil Geniuses. Inspired goes Golden, but so does Huhi. And Vulcan separated by Gori. Jojo, that's going to be a blast. Almost hits on his head, but the Frozen Tune keeps him into it. River wants to finish him off. That's an ace. Evil Geniuses are dead. Golden Guardians changing the tide of what everyone believes that they can do.
Oh my, nothing left but the Nexus turrets.
Just one more Nexus for Golden Guardians to take to make a statement, not just on this day, but of this season. GG's resolve holds strong, punching their tickets to North Carolina, playing finals weekend for the first time.
When did you make that sign? When did you make that sign? What a genius in the audience called it 3-0. Golden Guardians. They're going to face FlyQuest here. They've got a date in Raleigh. Coming off a 3-0 over the Evil Geniuses. Momentum building for this team. What a year for the Golden Guardians.
Hopping onto a plane for the first time in Golden Guardians history to battle it out. The same season of getting that first series win, now doubling that.
And they stomped them into the ground, okay? That was brutal here. Multiple games where they're over 8,000 gold lead, collecting souls, collecting barons, thumbs up.
The different looks that they showed in draft, the way they were able to follow the plays of the leading voices on this team, not just in River, but even Licorice, showing a whole different side to his identity of a player. And that's the duo that this team was built around. That's the ones leading them through. But Evil Genius is facing some disappointment on the other side as they've now given fuel to an ultimate underdog.
I especially love seeing growth over the season for individual players. Licorice, you know, the diversity that he's brought out, the advantage with playing these carry matchups on top side, multiple times Golden Guardians trying to hold counter pick for him, and absolutely being rewarded for confidence in their players and having trust in their players. It's definitely a heartwarming story here for the Golden Guardians, such an underdog team and delivering the results.
And Golden Guardians sticking to that identity as an org of really trying to prioritize that development that you're noting throughout the entirety of the split, which is why they have been able to move forward in this bracket in such a dominating fashion. 3-0 against Evil Geniuses after Evil Geniuses had just finished 3-0ing CLG.
Impressive, impressive stuff. Can't wait to see them versus FlyQuest.
It's gonna be a good time, folks. For now, let's send it back to the LCS Lounge for some quick hits on the series.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the lounge. I'm here with Closer for a pivotal part of this game. Golden Guardians in Raleigh, by the way, so we'll be looking at this play as we set up for an interview. So take it away, Closer.
Yeah, as expected, Golden Guardians trios EG. Here we're gonna take a look at their beautiful next execution. Here, Licorice goes to the bot lane, and then the seconds, I think he sees Jojo here.
Yeah.
Just look at how he plays. He's like, okay, I'm gonna go to the bush. And his team is already signaling the Nash to start. And I'm pretty sure Licorice is right now saying, I'm gonna either kill this guy or make him 1 HP, just start Nash. We can already see Golden Guardians start Nash here. And now Malphite TP'd bots, Licorice has TP advantage. They're killing the Nash, they see Inspired, and they're gonna go over instantly to stop him as well, like just beautiful.
It's insane because you're right. It feels like it started with him saying he is going to chunk Lissandra. And the fact that, even if we go back a little bit more, the fact that EG sees nothing. They have no vision whatsoever around this part of the objective. So technically Golden Guardians can do what they did against you guys.
This is what they
just
see.
Flip. Yeah, this is exactly what they see. And so TPing here is obviously a big mistake from Ssumday. But even if he didn't TP, this is just a lost play for EG.
Yeah.
So like, is there anything else that you noticed?
Beautiful play by Golden Guardians. I think you can see the trust they have. Like they're instantly pulling off the plays. They're not scared of like Viego stealing or anything.
Yeah.
Like it's just very good execution.
We've seen this a lot from them too, the fact that they're willing to take fights like these. We've seen riskier portions of like them playing around Baron. So like, this is insane level of confidence, even with the drafting that they had, which is just like, they've had ballsier and ballsier drafts.
Yeah, it's gonna be very exciting to see them play FlyQuest next week.
Man, I'm excited to see what we're gonna be seeing from Golden Guardians in the future. Remember, they are actually locked in for Raleigh. And now, we're ready for the Verizon post-game interview. Take it away.
Hello and welcome to the Verizon postgame interview. I have Licorice, Stixxay, and Huhi. First of all, congratulations. You're going to finals weekend. Do you have anything to say to everyone who doubted you, including me, who thought you would lose 3-1 to EG? I take my L's, I'm just saying.
I mean, I think our video says it, you know, like the few video.
Oh, we need the hats back.
Yeah.
Someone needs to give us a hat.
Really proud that we're going to the finals weekend, especially in our manager's hometown. And I'm really proud how everyone played on my team.
One thing I did, we can start with game 3. I thought your drafting was really interesting across all 3 games. But game 3, I did want to talk about the Rumble pick because one of the hallmarks of GG's kind of rise through the lower bracket has been these counter picks that you've had topside or picks that you've been super comfortable on. So just talk to me about the strength of Rumble, especially since his recent buffs.
Yeah, I mean, Rumble's pretty strong right now. And then also he blinded Malphite because he didn't expect me to pick Rumble because that is like probably the worst matchup that Malphite has in the entire game. So like unfortunate for Ssumday, and like the lane was really easy. We pressured him a lot with jungle, and then I was actually scaling really well through the game, and it just felt pretty easy.
Okay. How did you guys approach draft generally? Because you seem to have, I guess, if not stayed ahead of EG, you had some really interesting and creative things that popped up today.
Yeah, I mean, Tristana is like the obvious one that we're flexing. I don't think anyone else is playing Tristana, AD carry. We kind of just came into this week thinking that we should have maybe some special picks, you know, that people aren't going to expect. A lot of times in scrims, we would pick Tristana, and then the enemy would respond with like a mid pick, and then we would just counter the mid pick, and they're like, oh, they can send Tristana bottom. So in general, I just thought Tristana was good versus Zeri. So.
Okay. How does that matchup go? Just talk to me through it.
I mean, most of the Zeri lanes are you're just farming, hitting the wave. Like you're not really interacting with Zeri, and I just think Tristana scales really well. And luckily, I have Jay, who's really good at these engage supports, so it goes really well with Tristana.
Are engage supports back?
Hope so.
Same. Looking ahead, I wanted to ask you guys what you think you've improved on the most as a team as you've gone through the lower bracket. So I don't know who wants to start first, but I'm going to ask every single one of you the same question.
The one thing that improved the most?
Mm-hmm.
I think just overall like being consistent on stage, because I think we had a lot of death by the junglers and not using like our wards properly and kind of dying silly. And I think by fixing that, our early game became like really stable, and we have the river who I think is the best jungler in the LCS. So it gives him a lot of room to do whatever he wants.
Okay. Someone in the audience agrees with you.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much what he said. I honestly, even I'm really surprised today about how the games went. I think like today, for whatever reason, we just clicked really well. We're looking out for each other in the games. We're playing very disciplined. You know, we know pretty much just play around where River's pathing, and I think we did a pretty good job of it. So.
Yeah, and I have to agree with Jay. It's just not dying to the enemy jungler, because like jungle is just so OP. Like,
That's not what
as soon as we
junglers
stop
have been
dying to the
saying.
jungler, like our games suddenly look 10 times better. So I think that's mostly it.
As a unit, I know you guys joked around about how it was Huhi, Gori, and River kind of banding together, talking Korean, then giving you guys direction. Is that still how your comms work, or has it become more holistic communication?
That's more of the review process, actually.
Okay.
But on stage, I think everyone just talks, like everyone has their voice, and I don't think we like really have one main shot caller. I mean, like if it's anyone, it's Jay, but I think everyone contributes a fair amount.
You're shaking your head. Why is that?
No, because I think everyone knows how the game plan is, and
Okay.
everyone like calls really well when they're clicking.
Did you know that today with this series, you become the player who's played the most LCS, the 7th most LCS games of all time?
Oh, really?
Yes. Between your time as a mid laner and as a support.
Yay.
I know, like players. I remember when telling Bjergsen he had got the most games of all time. He had no idea. I assume you had no,
I had no idea.
But congratulations.
Thank you.
You also did take out every single one of your ex-teammates.
Yeah, I did.
How does that feel?
I mean, I'm happy that I'm doing well, obviously, but I feel like bad as well for them. And especially today with FBI, I made a special deal. The winner will buy the loser the dinner, so that we're like less sad. So, Vic, dinner's on me.
Oh, nice. That's cute. I like that. Looking ahead to finals weekend, I guess, what is this week of prep going to look like for you guys?
Just keep doing what we've been doing. I think just, yeah, don't add anything too crazy and just keep doing what we've been doing. I think we'll be okay.
All right. What do you think is the largest takeaway you can that can come from this series specifically?
Draft is OP.
In all honesty, though, red side, like I remember joking with you on stage about like, oh, you finally got the red side win in your last series. Yeah. Red side became actually super important in this series. So how do you think you guys have exploited the strengths of red side, and would you consider yourself a stronger red side or blue side team?
I think we're a pretty strong red side team right now. I'm not sure if we're like better than on blue side, but I mean the strength of red side is always flex picks, and if like we were picking Ssumday early, and it just makes draft really simple on red side right now. So yeah. All
right, going up against FlyQuest, who wins?
Us.
What's the score?
I mean, I was actually more nervous for this match than FlyQuest. I think we're gonna have a lot easier time versus FlyQuest.
All right. No, that's actually been a trend though, right? Because C9 said the same thing. They were like, we're more scared of EG than FlyQuest. What? Yeah. River also apparently tweeted that 100 Thieves was harder than EG, so I don't know if you guys agree with that either.
Yeah, I mean, our 100th match was a lot closer. I think it was more like back and forth. Mm-hmm. This game, I think most of all 3 games we had the lead, and then I think when we have a lead, we're a really dominant team. Mm-hmm. So yeah, today's game definitely felt not that hard.
All right. Well, I've kept you guys here long enough. Go out, celebrate, buy Victor dinner. I will send it back to Kobe and Jat for this or that.
Hello and welcome back to This or That with Kobe and Jat, presented by Verizon. 3-0, just as expected, right? We're hot off of the Golden Guardians victory.
This was a very fast week.
Yes, it was.
Very fast. 3-0, 3-0?
I think evil geniuses did their part.
To make it fast. This is true. They did make it fast.
They certainly did.
All right, let's get to the slides on this or that. Kobe Jat, slide number 1. More surprising, Golden Guardians 3-0, or literally anything else that happened this split.
So there were a lot of things that...
Tough one.
Yeah, there were a lot of surprising things that happened this split, right? I don't know, I still have stuff playing in my ear right now.
Listen, Golden Guardians 3-0, based on what they had done throughout the season when we were generally at times calling them like the 3rd or 4th best team in the league, to now be guaranteed top 3 is actually not as surprising as Dig going 3-15 or Team Liquid missing playoffs.
This one was pretty big. I think a lot of people had high expectations for Team Liquid when they came out at the beginning of the season talking about we're gonna outwork everyone, we're gonna import all of these world champions. We got world champion coach, world champion jungler, world champion support, everywhere. And
8th place.
Yeah, 8th place. They don't even, that's your don't make playoff stance. But the Dignitas one was also super surprising. So I would say this because we get to play the field to get all of the answers.
Yeah, I agree. It's that. Slide number 2 on this or that. Which drafts do you like more this weekend? Cloud9 drafts or GG drafts?
Ooh. I mean, the flex picks. I was really happy that I called the Tristana flexing to bottom, so that made me feel good. I'm biased. So
I called it too.
I'm gonna go with this one.
I just wasn't on air. So, okay, I am just seeing the Golden Guardians drafts today. They felt amazing. It felt like they had a huge advantage in every game.
Nobody's been pulling out Rumble.
Here's a question. They were better because they were a bigger gap between their opponent. Are these good drafts in isolation? Because, like, for instance, just Varus Heimer, okay, quick switch to Varus Soraka, okay, now you get to see Berserkers Aphelios. These are all very good drafts. They're both utilizing Cassante flex. Technically, they're both utilizing Tristana flex, but I still have to say Golden Guardians drafts.
It's for sure.
Yeah.
It's for sure.
Okay,
These
fine.
Way more creative.
Yeah. We
way
spent
more
too long.
flexes.
It's easy. Simple. Done. It's that.
Good. He realized now that I'm correct. Most over-prioritized champion in playoffs. This is a YouTube question from the comments from Chris. Is it Jinx or is it Vi? Now, it's funny because Vi kills Jinx and makes it
You didn't even read the middle one, did you?
Over-prioritized.
There's a Sion right there.
I think Sion's good. Yeah, I think Sion's good.
Okay.
So, for me, it's between these two. Sometimes teams, they over-index a little bit. I think early picking Vi before you see something that you need to Vi ult and before you they don't go necessarily all engaged with the Vi.
Yeah.
Then it's bad because your opponents can get counter-engaged because you show it too early. But the Jinx, I actually think is really good right now. And it's a little bit of a bait that we saw it get killed so much. I think it's actually still really powerful, and we'll see that.
So what is your
MSI.
answer? Because you just talked about the positivity of all the champions. I'm going to see Jinx because I think teams are picking it too early, which means it's getting over-prioritized.
Yes. All right. You sold me.
That was really easy.
Now this one, I'm jumping over that one, but I do think Jinx is powerful right now.
Yeah.
But yes, you don't pick it too early.
Easy. Slide number 4.
All right, next one.
Let's get to it. Better magazine model. These were amazing, by the way, these photoshops. And photos. Impact, Licorice, or Jojo.
Man,
we need to break it down.
I gotta say, Impact is so hot. that one, like, he is going the full model. JoJo's like the fun and happy one over here, and Licorice has the. I think Licorice is out for me. It's between the fun and happy. I gotta go with Impact. Like,
if all of these were in a CVS next to each other, what would stand out the least? And it's definitely this one. This is an actual magazine model.
Because he's actually a model?
It's perfect. It's definitely Impact. It's this.
Yeah, Impact is, that one's too good.
That's a good one.
Next one. Who diffed harder in Cloud9 versus FlyQuest? Berserker, M&S, or Mythy?
We were talking about this with Berserker. And he said M&S was the biggest diff of the series.
I also think because Ayla inted a lot. I mean,
that's not on this, Kobe.
Vikla inted a lot though, and made it look like an even bigger diff.
Yeah, the drafts were good. I didn't feel like we were discussing draft diff throughout it.
Yeah.
The rivalry between Prince and Berserker had the best Twitter diff, but the biggest diff was M&S.
Yeah, for sure.
It's the one in the middle.
All right, next slide. Not all of them say this and that.
I know. You have to be clear. Who does Cloud9 face in the finals? Golden Guardians or FlyQuest? My answer before the day was Evil Geniuses, and I'm wrong.
So are you going to transfer that faith into the Golden Guardians?
Dude.
Is it a transfer of power, Jat?
This is so hard now. no way did I think Golden Guardians was going to finals. For 9 weeks, I thought FlyQuest and C9 were going to be our Golden Guardians representatives.
Fair enough.
Why would I change now?
Because of new data that you just saw in front of your eyes.
You're right. It's this. Golden Guardians have very good teamwork, and I think the most important thing is they have championship experience. River has won 3 PCS titles. Huhi has won 2 LCS titles. Licorice has won. Stixxay has won. It's not like they have never been there before. They're actually more experienced than FlyQuest.
Honestly, though, I'm still going to go with FlyQuest. I think people are getting the wrong idea because they just got blasted by Cloud9. I think Cloud9 is going to win. I think Cloud9 are going to blast everybody. But I do have faith in okay, maybe it's because of the magazine bias, but
Okay, Impact is good.
I still have faith in FlyQuest, you know. This team is good at its core. There's no way that another series, Ayla and Vikla, play that poorly, honestly. I think those two are going to play much better.
Okay.
If they don't, though, they're not going.
We'll see.
They've got to improve.
I think Kobe and I need a wager for this, so let us know in the comments what we should actually bet on Golden Guardians versus FlyQuest.
Cold
we have over
exposure.
a week to pay it off. I'm not doing it now. We're going to see it in the comments. Also, leave your suggestions in the comments. That is a wrap for this or that. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye. But for those of you still here, we have more playoffs next week, as we were just talking about. It's going to be a tiny little bit. Saturday, April 8th, Sunday, April 9th. That's when the losers bracket final, semifinal, championship match, whatever is happening before C9 awaits the winner in the grand final. And we also have to mention for today, the player of the series, drumroll, Kobe. You do it with your noisemakers. Player of the series is huhi. And so the Amumu engage definitely biased us a little bit at the end. The fact that he pulled out Rel and Amumu, we've been talking about it all split, how it's an 80 carry meta, but when you can be the trigger pull of the team, you're able to stand out. We also know about his leadership qualities, the fact that this guy has actually been to 3 consecutive LCS finals, going for number 4. He had a great series.
I mean, he had a massive series, pulling out the Rel. Not many other supports doing that right now. Big engages, had good vision coverage as well, and not too many big mistakes either. When you're playing a really risky frontline support like that, sometimes you have some giant blunders to look back on.
Yeah, this was such a shocker, man. I think
You're
I'm
still in shock right now. I can tell that.
Yeah. I mean, you are too, surely.
I definitely am a bit. We'll have time to recover, though, and accept the Golden Guardians, our new Golden Guardian overlords.
For at least a week.
Until
at least a week. We'll see. While Golden Guardians have punched their tickets to finals, NACL, their finals kick off this Sunday, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 Pacific. Take a look.
This weekend, you've seen regular seasons. You've seen LCS playoffs. But you've never seen this. It's time for a Super Heavyweight Smackdown! Tabletop challengers sit atop a throne of bones crafted from the remains of their adversaries. One more match to determine their #1 contender. In the red corner, Team Liquid Challengers entered the tournament as the 9th seed and ran through the competition. Led by World Jungler Mir, assisted by rookie mid laner APA and support Kim Down, carried by veteran Arrow, and motivated by 2 Chainz top laner Bradley. 3 consecutive finals, back-to-back champion, Team Liquid Challengers! And in the blue corner, this team dominated the regular season with 2 of the best mid laners in the league. Undefeated until their scrap against Dignitas, and they're hungry for a rematch. Thank God, Diplex, Lost, Zeyzal, 4 players with LCS experience climbing their way back to the top of the region, with sophomore year jungler Tomio as their guard dog. This org looks to reclaim the space they once owned in 21 Spring. Cloud9 Challengers awaiting their opponent in the grand finals, the raid boss of spring, the talkers of the league, ready to return to the LCS. Hoon with the single most solo kills of any player in the league. XU with his signature carry picks and heavy invade playstyle. Insanity with his ability to win matchups harder than anyone should. Spawn as the ringer from LCS and consistent team fight threat. Diamond as the winningest support in the history of the league. This team was built to take the title, and they have one more best of 5 in their way. Take the toss, challengers! Who will win the LCS Spring Split? Who will walk away victorious? Find out on this week's Super Heavyweight SmackDown!
That's it for us in the LCS studio. Next Saturday and Sunday, we will be in Raleigh, North Carolina for our spring finals. Head to Ticketmaster.com right now to get yours before they're all gone. That is a possibility, so make sure you lock those up. Doors open for FanFest at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and the broadcast will begin at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, which is noon Pacific. But that's it for this weekend. Back-to-back 3-0s. Finals is going to be pretty interesting now. The Golden Guardians has involved Cloud9, FlyQuest, Golden Guardians. One of them will be the champion. 2 of them will be at MSI. We'll see you then.
Today, it is do or die. 2 teams taking to the stage. Only one will make it to Raleigh. Will Evil Geniuses get a chance to repeat last spring's title, or will Golden Guardians punch a ticket to their first finals weekend?
Dude, no one wants me on this team.
Did you 1v1 Rube?
Yeah, I beat him already.
You beat him?
Yeah.
What matchup?
Yon Yasuo.
Did you play Yon?
Yeah.
Yeah, Yon wins. It's
He wanted to play Yon.
It's a counter
He wanted
matchup.
to play Yasuo. You want to play the other side?
No.
Okay,
Getting the root onto River, Licorice wrapping around. Inspired, does he see him? Joins the jungler. The solo laner put in some work. Gori getting a kill. It's Golden Guardians throwing back on this fight. Going into stasis, Jojo keeps himself alive for a temporary amount of time. Stixxay popping off at it again. Licorice going into the back line to get the double kill here. It's a good play. It's an ace for Golden Guardians. Jojo goes in with some Foxfire, some salting thrown down. There's a rocket jump in. E onto Inspire, gonna blast soon, and there's a kill. Huhi gets the credit of it onto FBI, and the pursuit is strong. Stixxay staying alive and lock onto Jojo. Support more, separate through mid lane. Who's the next ball? Jojo is had.
Yo, watch my position.
Yeah.
I'm going to hex left. I'm going to hex left.
Go.
Ulting. Coming.
Yeah.
Cherry. Cherry.
I got him.
Go fight.
Okay. I go.
Front.
Yeah.
Vi behind.
It's okay. Don't care.
Don't care.
Me and. Yeah, go mid.
Golden Guardians can focus on to the Baron. Licorice now teleports in. Inspired, looking for an angle to get in there, but can't find it. Isolated. Gori takes him out. And on the Baron. Jojo wants to go for it, but the security of River gets the Baron buff for Golden Guardians. And the teleport in, and Huhi going for the play. Multiple stuns and the equalizer across Evil Geniuses. Inspired goes Golden, but so does Huhi, and Vulcan separated by Gori. Jojo, that's gonna be a blast. Almost hits on his head, but the Frozen Tomb keeps him into it. River wants to finish him off. That's an ace. Evil Geniuses are dead. GG's resolve holds strong, punching their tickets to North Carolina, playing finals weekend for the first time.
This GG should sell their spot. GG is 10th place team. Well, guess what?